hasn't really been touched on in prior interviews how much you've got to get the deal done in this business.
Yep.
Like to the talent business, it's all about the deal.
ABC,
right?
always be closing.
It is. It literally is that. And that's what makes someone relevant in this space. So, let's think about the Joe Mercer job. When you principally go into pitching these people, where are you going with that? Like, what's the main idea in your head? Is it brand awareness? Is it a conversion? What do you think it is that influencers offer above other mediums?
Well, I think we try and tap into their campaigns first and foremost. So we're not asking for money as an aside, where it's out of the blue. They don't have that marketing spend. And by doing that, we tap into the calendar year. That's the easiest way to do it. Okay. So you're like, there's Valentine's Day coming up. I bet Michael Hill Jewelers has budget for Valentine's Day advertising. And there's so much in a calendar year. Like we're working on Father's Day right now. Then there's the Spring Racing Carnival, Melbourne Fashion Week's coming up. Then there's Christmas.
Interesting.
New Year's Eve, Portsea Polo. I could go on.
So you literally looked at the calendar and you thought, okay, and I can tell this is something you would have learnt back at the PR firm. What are the events and things coming up? And what can we be doing around that?
Well, that's like your news hook.
Yeah.
You're like, well, why would I be talking to you?
Yeah.
And people send out terrible pictures that have been forwarded to me, which is quite funny.
Yeah, never authentic. It's always, it's always just some copy-paste slab.
Or it's like, you should work with me. I'm really amazing.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
No.
Instead, I'm like, well, how can I make your life easier?
Yeah.
What can I add value to you?
Yeah.
And I think that's just the sell.
Yeah.
So that's what I love doing is tapping into their own marketing plan and predicting, your spring, summer drop for fashion's coming up soon. How can we promote that for you?
Yeah. Who taught you to sell? Was it at Hatching?
No one taught me to sell. I think I was born this way.
I was born this way.
Yeah.
Like that song is playing in the back of my head right now.
I used to literally go to Vodafone with my dad and I'd be 15 and I'd be saying to the guy at Vodafone, you can do a better offer on this.
Yeah.
I know you can. And my dad was mortified, but I got a better offer on it.
Yeah.
I've negotiated everything my whole life.
Yeah. There's something fun about it, isn't there?
Yeah. It's the win. I want the win.
Yeah. It's getting that win, the competition. I can see that now.
Yeah, I'm very competitive.
Yeah. All right. When you think about, the way that you've consolidated this business in, let's say, the last few years. So when you went from one deal a month to 87 plus a month.
Yeah, probably more now.
Yeah. I'd assume, because I think that interview was like a year or so or more ago. What do you think about, what are the main principles you have when running this business? Like, what are the top 3 things that you have to have in check for you to be happy? Not that you're ever fully happy, but like, what do you have to have? What makes you feel happy in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, just having control. I think there are so many moving parts that you have to have an element of control there. And especially having staff, I need to be on top of what they're doing. And that involves a lot of like scheduling. So we have so many spreadsheets. People don't realize that I spend most of my life crunching numbers on spreadsheets.
It's good though.
It's so helpful. So much in the Google Drive. So yeah, just having that control over, I know when Sarah needs to go to Sydney for that job and Adelaide for that job, or when she's booked out for that speaking gig and that photo shoot. So then I won't double book her.
Yeah.
Or I know this person is at capacity right now with the jobs that they're doing, so I can push that back to August, September.
Yeah.
I think just being across them personally as well. So if they aren't able to deliver something that I'm not telling the client they can, disappointing them. So managing everyone's expectations and having just an understanding of what's going on.
Yeah.
We even have like a big board in the office to make sure each talent is working at the right capacity. And one person isn't overwhelmed, one person isn't underperforming. And just having that awareness changes the conversation.
And how do you think about capacity? Is it like X amount of jobs or deals per month or hours?
It's personal to each talent as well.
Right.
Like for some of my fashion girls that work full time, they can only shoot on weekends.
Okay.
So we're not going to give them 25 jobs a month because they can't deliver that.
Yeah.
Or they'll kill me. And some of them don't want to do certain jobs, or the others are like, yep, let's cash in on this. Like, let's make the most while we can. So it's really personal per talent. So we kind of set that expectation with them as well when they sign on. We're like, what do you want from this?
Okay.
And, you know, obviously I love it if they want to do every job ever, but it's also okay if they want to say no.
Yeah, because you can scale it up and down. You know, if then their capacity is only 20 hours a month, then you don't have to sell as many deals as someone who's 40, 60, 80, whatever it may be.
And even like saturation in their own feed, it can take away their value. So we need to make sure we're not overselling them. And the good thing is we're leaning away from one-off sponsored posts and more towards ambassador deals, brand alignments, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then more like 6 to 12 months as well. So it means that if we're exclusive to Garnier, we don't get tempted by another brand. We don't have to be.
Okay.
Because we know that work's coming in. And then for me as a business owner, I know what billing I have coming in as well. I can afford to hire someone else. So it's definitely a lot better having that structure.
The staff that you have, what's the bulk of what they do? Are they account managers? Are they operational staff?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting split. So one of them is like the operations logistics, how she just makes it all happen. So if like I land a job in, I then give it all to her and she has to be like, well, do you want the red dress or the blue dress and what size and what's your postal? Like things like that, details. I can't do details. So she does that, but the rest of them do a bit of both. So they'll do a bit of sales and a bit of operations. And we just find that it works better to split it per genre rather than per role.
Oh, okay.
So they'll work on the family talent or they'll work on the lifestyle or fashion.
Okay, yeah, that's probably the better way. Like a lot of businesses that have account management type stuff, you break it down based on segment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it means you're having the right conversations with the right people and you can tap into that for more opportunities.